Hello and welcome in, friends, to another week in the NFL as we make our confidence picks this week on CBS Sports. And we are doing this a little bit guerrilla warfare style, as you can see us if you're watching us on youtube.com/Mike Mercado 2333. You can see we're getting ready for an interview we're doing for all you NBA hoop fans. We are talking to Tony Gill from 670 The Score. He covers the Bulls better than anybody else in the city. And we're going to talk a little bit about the league in general. So we're going to do this really fast, and we're going to see if we could do better than we did last week, which I thought we were going to do a little bit better. We did get a lot of the upsets, but again, when you're doing confidence and you're picking upsets and you only put a certain amount of points on them, it kind of affects the way that you will end up doing long term in that week or even throughout the rest of the season. But I thought we had a good weekend. We'll get a little bit about the Chicago Bears. I want to talk about that with Tony Gill as well in that interview, so make sure you guys are sticking with that. But let's get ready for week 10 in the NFL, and we start with Chargers and the Raiders on Thursday nights. I'm going to go with the Chargers. They're getting healthy. That defense is looking a little bit better. Keenan Allen's a stud. Phillip Rivers at some point is going to get them to, it's that type of quarterback who would get them to 9-7, make you believe a little bit and be dangerous in the playoffs. There's a chance the AFC West will have 3 teams, so I'm going to go with the Chargers in that one. We got Detroit and Chicago. I don't know what else to say about this Bears offense. I mean, we're talking about they had 12 yards in the first half. We're talking about them turning off televisions, whether it was tongue-in-cheek or it was or if it was dead serious. The fact remains is this team is embarrassing right now. I don't know if it's play calling. I don't know if it's execution. I don't know if it's all of it. I don't know if there wasn't any film on this team last year and that's why they caught a lot of teams by surprise. I don't know where this false bravado came from, a team that lost in the wild card round and somehow pretends like they were going to go on some magical run. This is horrible. This is must win, but the season is over. Now, they got lucky that everybody in the division lost last week, and the division is going to have a little bit of a tougher week this week. But fact remains, the fact that we're not even at Thanksgiving and the season feels over. And what do? You go to Chase Daniel? Is he really going to take you through this gauntlet that is the NFL playoffs into a Super Bowl run because Nick Foles did? How many Nick Foles have there been in the NFL? It came down to the quarterback, and it's not working out. I don't blame Mitchell Trubisky for being the second overall pick. And it's funny, the guy who made that pick, the guy who's made a lot of picks like Adam Shaheen, the guy that brought in, It's really hard when not to go off on right pace, because when he does bring in Khalil Mack, you do give him some benefit of doubt from some of the defensive picks that he's made. But fact remains, the guy who brought in Mike Glennon, it's hard to give him any benefit of the doubt. And one thing I'm going to ask Tony when I talk to him in just a little bit, the goodwill is all gone. So what's next? Do you want this regime making the next pick? Lot of fascinating points about this Bears team. So you have Detroit, you have Chicago. This pick to me is so personal too, though, because if you lose to Detroit, it really is over. Like, it really is. But what makes you in the right mind think they're going to beat Detroit, even without Kerryon Johnson? Matt Stafford's going to throw the ball 50 times. Now, again, this Bears defense is top 7. Especially in fantasy football, but I'm gonna go with Chicago. At some point, they have to win a game, and I think this is that one, especially since it's at home. But we'll see a little bit come Thanksgiving. We have the Ravens and Cincinnati. The Ravens coming off of that win against New England, one that we picked. But again, let's see how that plays out come for the AFC Championship, or at least in the AFC playoffs, because now you're on film for Bill Belichick. So we'll see. We have the Cardinals going to Tampa Bay. It's interesting. Tampa Bay has 2 of the top wide receivers in fantasy football, and Jameis Winston is never to be trusted. And this is a weird game to have Arizona. They're going to have David Johnson back. Kenyon Drake went off last week. I'd be fascinated to see how Arizona does going all the way to the East Coast, the Southeast, and what they do there in Florida. But I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I think they have too many offensive weapons. and that Arizona's defense won't be able to keep them down too long. We have Kansas City at Tennessee. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to play this week. He didn't last week. We were leading that way, and that's the problem with doing the show on Thursday is you obviously don't know as we get closer to the weekend, but I'm going to go with under the assumption that he's playing that game, and even not, I'm going to go with Kansas City in this matchup, and they need to get right as well. We have the Bills against Cleveland. I don't know what to say about Cleveland. As soon as I pick against them, they're going to end up winning, but I think Buffalo's defense is going to make Baker Mayfield and give him a heck of a headache throughout this entire game, and I'm going to go with Buffalo in this one. We have the Giants and the Jets, the battle for MetLife Stadium, and I am going to go with the Jets in this matchup. See if Sam Darnold can bounce back and put some confidence in himself and his team moving forward. They're not going anywhere, but this is a get-right game for them. We have the Falcons against New Orleans. Drew Brees is going to go off. We're going to go with New Orleans in that matchup. We have the Dolphins who got their first win against the Colts. We'll see if Jacoby Brissett plays. I haven't heard anything, but just because it's in Indianapolis and it's the game they have to win, I'm going to go with the Colts. We have the Rams against the Steelers. I'm going to go with the Rams in this matchup. We'll see what happens if James Conner plays in this game. We'll go with the Rams. And again, this is a game they need to get right. San Francisco, Seattle do not want to lose. The Rams need to keep pace. And this is what I told you. When you don't win the playoffs, when you don't cash in that opportunity, it's so hard to get anywhere near that. It's not the same team. And we're seeing it with the Rams. We have the Panthers and Green Bay. Cam Newton out for the rest of the season. Everybody here in Chicago wondering if next year maybe he is the next quarterback for the Chicago Bears, but at least for right now, we'll see what Kyle Allen does. Christian McCaffrey is really in the running for MVP and saving a lot of people's fantasy seasons, so I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. They didn't look good last week, and it was really interesting to see Green Bay struggle that bad with that type of game, but I think Aaron Rodgers will get right. They'll take a stranglehold in this division. I think Davante Adams is going to go off too because coming back last week, it'll be interesting to see how he does this week. And with that in mind, on Sunday Night Football, the Cowboys, the Vikings, a chance for Minnesota for a marquee win, a chance for Dallas to cement itself as one of the true powerhouses in the NFC. I'm fascinated with this matchup. I think Minnesota wins this game. And it's not that I think they're more talented. Kirk Cousins it's that big game, so this is where he usually flops a little bit or falters at the very least, but he's a little bit going under the radar this year. They don't have Adam Thielen, but Dalvin Cook is the real deal. I think you could kill him slowly, and you keep the ball away from Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, and Dak Prescott, and you have a chance to win this. It's in Jerry World, which I think actually helps the running game of the Vikings, and if Diggs can go off at some point for one big play, I think Minnesota has a great chance of winning this game. And on Monday Night Football, a battle for the NFC West, a hell of a matchup. Congratulations for Monday Night Football for getting this one. We have the Seahawks against the Niners. Who's for real? Who's the real team in this one? The Niners have a good defense. The offense is okay. It's got pieces. The running game is great on that team. I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I've been converted as a Garoppolo believer. But with that being said, we need to see it. He's coming off that ACL. He's played a few games. I'm not willing to crown him anything, but I want to see him. I want to see him succeed. And this is a great matchup against maybe the MVP favorite in Russell Wilson. I think this is a check-em game. This is Seattle checking the new kid around the block. And I'm going to go with Seattle winning this in San Francisco. That doesn't mean I believe that would happen in the playoffs. But this is that first test for the Niners. So we will really see where San Francisco ranks throughout the rest of the season, looking into December. But I'm going to go with Seattle in this one. I'm going to go with the old guys showing up against the youngsters. But those are our picks. And like we always do here on Sports from the Couch as we make our confidence picks, it is now time to put the numbers on them. And we start with 13 points this week because there's a few teams on bye week. Who do I have a lot of confidence in? I think we have a lot of confidence in New Orleans over Atlanta. So we'll put them all the way up there. And we know Andy Dalton is not playing for Cincinnati, so we'll put Baltimore with 12 points. We keep looking down a little bit. Who else do we like coming up this week? Do we like Green Bay enough to put 11 points on them? I think we do. We'll go ahead and put 11 points on the Packers over Carolina. And we keep looking around here. I think now would be a time that we could put 10 points on Kansas City over Tennessee and see if Patrick Mahomes can give us a couple points there. It'd be interesting. I'm not willing to put a lot of points on Indianapolis, at least that high up there, because I don't know who's going to be quarterbacking for them. So I'm going to go ahead and just wait on that for a little bit. I might not have a choice just looking through these games. Yeah, you know what? I guess I'll put it on them. I really don't know otherwise. I'll put 8 points with, looking around here, on the Rams. I'll put 7 on the Chargers. I will put 6 on Buffalo. I'll put 4 on Seattle. I'll put 3 on Minnesota. 2 on, I'll put a little bit more on Tampa. I'll put 5 on Tampa. I'll put, I'll put 3. All right. So that way, if you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, you've seen it. But just for all of you who are awesome and listen to us through the podcast, we'll run it back down for you. We have 13 points on New Orleans over the Falcons. We have 12 points on the Ravens over the Bengals. 11 on Green Bay beating Carolina. 10 on the Chiefs over the Titans. 9 on the Colts beating Miami. 8 on the Rams over the Steelers, 7 on the Chargers beating Oakland, 6 on the Bills over the Browns. We have 5 in Tampa beating Arizona, 4 points on the Bears beating Detroit, 3 points on the Jets beating the Giants, 2 on Seattle over the Niners, and 1 point on the Vikings over the Cowboys. Thank you all so much for joining us here for Week 10 of the NFL Confidence Picks here on Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves. I'm Mike Mercado. Make sure you follow us all over the universe. I'm on Twitter at mmercado2333, Instagram at instagram.com/MikeMercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Support us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. We have a bunch of cool tiers just for you. Like, review, share us wherever you get your favorite podcast at Mercado Airwaves, and you can follow us on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. Thank you so much. Enjoy the games. We'll see you next time here on Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves. I'm Mike Mercado.